Alright, wonderfully, my last video didn't save properly, like the last clip. And it's 3:45 a.m. now. And I'm just fucking exhausted, and I'm tired, and I'm pissed off. So, maybe some other people can figure this out. I don't know. I emailed basically all these suggestions to Creality as well. I haven't heard back for a couple days from them regarding the issue. Well, I guess like one full day or something. I don't know. They replied on a Saturday, which seemed a bit odd because, it would be a holiday still. But then they didn't reply the day after. It's Monday now. Maybe I'll get a reply today. But basically, my idea was to take a resin printed bracket that has like a chamfered, filleted thing to guide the pin into it. And the idea is that when the pin homes, it has a little thing that holds it and reduces the amount of motion so that it can't rattle. So it secures it at the end here, which helps to fix that issue. Now, that did partially work, or it did work, but... Alright, so, if you see here, I've actually mounted it backwards this time. I manually adjusted it with a file. I don't know what the exact internal size of that is right now, because the tips on my calipers, one of them got chipped, and Midatoyo wants $200 or some shit to fix it. But basically, you can see that with this little resin printed piece wedged in there, that would be glued in, you can see that the back side of this isn't moving much anymore at all. If we zoom in, I'm wiggling the tip of it, and before it used to have a whole lot of motion, and it didn't. And it has no resistance, because this thing, if you have a human hair's worth of resistance in here, it doesn't deploy. But that basically, that holds it. And so the back side of the pin is secured with this bracket. The front side, however, is still loose, free to move around, and that's where the rattling is coming from. So, basically, you'd want to design a little piece of plastic. I don't feel like resin printing and dealing with this shit because I've been doing that all goddamn day, iterating this design. A little piece that fits around that, which is 3.5 millimeters OD. I think it's 5.5 millimeters. No, 3.5 ID to fit around this pin. 4.5 OD around there. And the idea is that it would be the exact right size, just like this one, so that when the pin is homed, it doesn't allow it to move around that much. Because that is where the rattle is coming from. And if there's any fucking movement there, that's going to cause issues. And I tried mocking it up with this thing. I don't know, I'm just getting fed up with this. Basically, there's stuff that I wanted to print this weekend, and I was excited for this, and then it doesn't work, and I don't want to have some rattly piece of garbage on my fucking printer making noise. And I want to fix this, because I want to, make it work and fix this issue. I don't know, whatever. Basically, so, notes about this. Internal bracket does work. I'll upload that to Cults 3D. People can download it, fuck around with it, whatever, Maybe someone will be able to make it better. I think that side works. It's still a very manual fitment process. If you push in on this, alignment-wise, if you push in firmly on this, it messes it up and it makes it bind. So it's all very delicate. So once you put the back on, that might also mess it up. You need something to hold the tip in, but you can't add any resistance at all. So, Teflon would work well. But, I don't have any, Teflon sheet here. Maybe I can mess with a bit of Bowden tube, but any little bit of resistance on the tip will stop this from working. And I think to get it tight enough so that it doesn't rattle around, that's going to have to be super tight. Also, that tip has this little design thing, which I quite like. It looks, it's visually interesting, but it means that there's a smaller shaft there, so if this thing is canted off a little bit, when it pulls back in, it could get stuck and not home all the way or some shit. So you'd want a bit of a chamfer on it. Other things, ideas that I sent to E3D. Make a polymer body for the solenoid. That way this doesn't have metal to rattle against, or a polymer thing there. If I had more of these, I could experiment and cut one of those apart or try to insert some sort of plastic disc there or something. I might try something thin like that. I tried with like electrical tape, that didn't really seem to help. And this is like a sealed unit, and these are $75 a pop, so I'm not going to mess around with that and take that apart. The other thing, put like a much stronger spring in this, that way it holds it a lot firmer and pulls it in a lot faster, because it does seem a bit sluggish, so that it doesn't have the ability to rattle around. That means it's going to need more powerful, pulse of current to the solenoid. Have a capacitor here that charges up before you dump it, and there are a couple little small surface mount capacitors down there, but nothing of substance. I don't know if one of those is used to charge up to pump the solenoid, or if they just give it 5 volts. They probably just give it 5 volts. But a different PCB version with a big chunky capacitor to give a good pump of current to overcome resistance things would help fix a lot of this issue, so you could have tighter fitting parts to hold it still. What's the other thing? A Teflon liner inside of this, that might help. Tightening up the tolerance there and there with Teflon would stop this from rattling around, and it would have a Teflon thing to ride against. And then, you could even have the whole solenoid body be made out of Teflon if it doesn't need this for the actual solenoid mechanism to work, which it shouldn't. Open body solenoids do work. What else was there? I don't feel like editing this thing. I'm exhausted. Yeah, I don't know. There was something else that I had sent to E3D as like an idea for that. How about a plastic pin with a magnet in it? Like, yeah, okay, you don't have a metal pin. Big whoop. Like if your bed's 150C, then sure, the injection molded plastic one on the BL Touch might be an issue. But this thing making a shitload of noise is also a pretty big issue, and I think more people are going to have this on beds that don't reach that kind of temperature. And, that would still be able to work, although it would need like a chunkier pin and solenoid design. But they've got the room in this thing, it's bigger than a BL Touch. Like, that would fix the issue as well. Which, I mean, I bet BL Touch tried this, and we're like, oh shit, that fucking rattles, we can't have that. Yeah, I don't know. And the other thing is, if you put this in an ambient temperature chamber thing that's like 80 degrees, the metal and the resin's going to expand at different amounts, so then that might add enough play for that back end to wobble. Right now it's like rock solid. It's only the front that's making the rattle, but it's still completely unbearable. And I've tried adding little thin bits of the silicone tubing onto it, and it doesn't help. I wish just like the heat shrink mod worked for me. I don't know why it doesn't on this one. It's probably a looser tolerance on the solenoid than other people's units. Maybe if I returned it and bought another one, or maybe if I bought one of the ones from Amazon in the US that has that mod already done to it, as far as I can tell, they probably just do the same thing. Maybe that would work. You still lose clearance because you're going to be 1 or 2 millimeters further out when it's stowed. Not the end of the world. It kind of sucks. It means I'll have to redesign my mount and everything. This one just drops in nicely. And I like the extra 2 millimeters of throw compared to the BL Touch. That's really nice for clearing stuff and making my... it's actually better because all of my stuff is like leveled up to the point where if I don't clean the nozzle tip off, it won't home properly. It'll fuck up. Because the BL Touch doesn't have enough reach. This does. It's really nice. It's just the rattling that I can't stand. Can't stand it. So, yeah, I don't know. I messaged the Amazon US seller to see, hey, do you have a picture of the actual thing you did? Maybe it's something really good. I won't post any pictures of it because it's probably just the same shit and it didn't work for me. And some people on the forums have also tried these, the mods here, and those don't work. So, those are my ideas on how to fix this. I'm gonna give it a few days and see if Creality gets in touch, or if there is something, or I don't know what, but at this point I'm probably stuck returning this and buying the differential IR sensor and having only 1.5 millimeters of clearance, and then that's going to get ripped off by failed print, and it's going to cost me $40 every time, and it's going to be broken, and it's going to suck. I really wanted this to work, And God knows I've spent my whole damn weekend working on this, trying to fix it, but I just can't get it there. Maybe it's because I'm tired. Maybe I do need to try and resin print something that fits in here perfectly. But that little bit of, that bit where it gets skinnier after this is the issue. And that could be ground down, I guess, yeah. But I don't know if I want to put, once I do that, this is not returnable. That's $75 that I definitely have to spend. Maybe I'll see if they're cheaper on Amazon and return this one and buy from Amazon so Bezos can go to space in another penis-shaped spaceship, because then I can save $20 or $30 on this compared to a Canadian seller. Yay. But hey, hopefully, maybe someone can take one of these ideas or modify something and come up with a fix, and it can be a community thing, and we can have working, really nice bed level sensors that don't make you go completely fucking crazy.